Israel has officially recognized Somaliland as a state. The whole of Somaliland is celebrating right now. What are you, Amos? What are you doing? Wallahi, this is so crazy. And look, this guy's literally dressed in a full Israeli outfit now. Bro, how are you guys teaming up with the ops? Ya Allah, what am I watching? The way people are celebrating is absolutely insane. Wallahi, I'm lost for words. Comment down below your thoughts.
Israel just recognized Somaliland. This is not kindness. This is strategy. Yeah. Israel, all they want is friendship in that area so they can create pressure and future operation. Sheesh. For Somaliland, this is huge. They just received what they've been asking for the past 30 years. Official recognition. Yeah. This is not just a headline to them. This is momentum. Sheesh. They can now push for investment talks, security corporations, more deals, and one yes potentially means more yes. Yeah, Somaliland is currently experiencing mixed emotion and the world around them telling them don't take the bait. Sheesh. Egypt and Turkey, they condemn this. Somalia said they're going to fight this diplomatically and legally. Yeah, who's really winning in this deal, right? Israel, they gained the biggest strategy at low cost. Yeah. Somaliland, they gained the biggest symbol, pays the biggest price. What's your thoughts on this? Sheesh.
President.
Mr. Prime Minister.
It's good to talk to you, and before anything else, I want you to know that I'm signing now, as we speak, Israel's official recognition of Somaliland and its right of self-determination. Our friendship is seminal and historic. So I'm very, very happy and I'm very proud of this day, and I want to wish you and the people of Somaliland the very, very best there.
That's a great moment and great historical day. The Big Five is here. The other group is the chairman of the party and the vice president. And key officials are here. Mr. Prime Minister, I accepted the invitation and I am ready as soon as possible for that arrangement.
Right. Hello, what's good my people? Welcome once again to our YouTube channel. My name is Mr. J and this is Mr. J Diaspora. If you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing, like our video so that it may get more viewership. Now, let's get straight to the topic of the day. Israel has just recognized Somaliland. Somaliland, a country that has existed since 1991. From the time that it got its independence. Now it's the time that the Israel wants to recognize it. At this particular time, when we have so many issues, where there is so many wars, and at this particular time is the time that now Israel want to recognize it. Now we need to ask ourselves, why is this happening at a time like this? Now, all of a sudden, the Israelites are recognizing the Somaliland, and the Somalilands are celebrating. Instead of asking themselves why it is happening at this time, they are celebrating. But now, let us listen to some of the views of other people. Then we'll come back and talk about this story.
Breaking news, Israel has just recognized Somaliland as an independent state. Somaliland had previously been an unrecognized breakaway region of Somalia. Somaliland had declared its independence back in 1991 but had never had diplomatic recognition from any UN member state. Until today, December 26, 2025, Israel and Somaliland have signed a mutual recognition deal with the plans for ambassadors and embassies. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that the move echoes the Abraham Accords, signaling and cooperation in tech, agriculture, health, and economy. As of now, Somalia, Egypt, Turkey, and Djibouti have all denounced the move, calling it dangerous for peace. Experts now say that this could shape Horn of Africa's geopolitics and even influence Red Sea security, as Somaliland's recognition directly challenges Somalia's territorial integrity, a principle which is strongly defended by the UN and African Union. Critics warn that this could encourage other separatist regions worldwide to seek recognition in the same way, something many governments fear. For Somalia, this is seen as a major diplomatic blow, weakening its claims and risking internal instability. Analysts worldwide say that this move could reshape Red Sea and Horn of Africa geopolitics, affecting everything from shipping routes, regional security, and a great power competition involving the Middle East, Africa, and beyond. Let me know your thoughts about
Recognize Somaliland. This is what it means and why you should care. And this is quite complicated, but I promise you it's worth it. First of all, this is what Somaliland is. It's part of modern-day Somalia. Yesterday, Israel was the first nation in the world to recognize it as a sovereign nation as opposed to a part of Somalia, which has been rebuked by almost every single member of the African Union because it violates the sovereignty of Somalia. And I'm going to add a lot of context, but what is important here is Israel doesn't give a fuck about autonomy of an African nation. And this is totally divorced from the argument about what a country is. This is a purely political play by Israel and by extension the American empire. Immediate context is that Israel has an explicit interest in using Somaliland to ethnically cleanse Gazans. This is something you might hear in the next coming days, but there is more to this. It is not just Israel's interests, it is America's. For two reasons. First of all, here's Somalia, Somaliland, here's Djibouti, and here is the Strait of Aden. Here's Yemen, here's where the Houthis have control. Got it? The reason Djibouti is important is because it is where a lot of people have military bases to protect the Strait of Aden. And importantly, America has one and China has one, because Djibouti is moving closer and closer to the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China. And this territory is incredibly important to America because this is where the Houthis, Yemen's government in that area, did the previous blockade in solidarity with the Palestinian people against Israel. Do you see it coming together? America's position in protecting a geopolitically important strait is being challenged by increased Russian and Chinese influence in the place that it has the military bases. This is why what I consider to be the voice of American imperialism, the Heritage Foundation, says that the US should recognize Somaliland. Of course, they justify it with cultural other bullshit, but they don't care. They are acting in their interests of protecting the American empire. Because ultimately, Somaliland has offered explicitly multiple times to exclusively give a naval and military base to America if they recognized it, which would strengthen their position in the area, help them secure the Aden Strait, help in their war against the Houthis that they are aligned with the Saudis against, and push back against Chinese influence in the area. That is China's only military base. Outside of China, of course. So when you have analysis of Israel being an outpost of the American empire, it becomes super clear what's happening. Israel is acting in its own interests, but is acting as a massive clear proxy for American imperial interests, protecting security interests in that area, acting against the sovereignty of the nations to protect the empire's control of that territory, and fighting back against other conflicting, either sovereign, national, or international pressures to back off from that area. So do not be confused. This play with Somaliland, maybe America didn't say yes, but they certainly didn't say no, because this is just as much in Israel's interests as it is in America's, because they are...
Some Somalis are celebrating on social media that Israel recognized them as a Somaliland. Look, I may not have much information about this subject, but I for sure know that I don't want to be recognized as a land by a terrorist state that's committing a genocide live television, that's occupying, that's stealing for the past 80 years, that committed hundreds of massacres, that displaced millions of people from their land and stole hundreds of thousands of land and houses from Palestinians to become a state. I for sure don't want to be recognized by that state. But hey, we're living at a time where I won't be surprised from any people.
First of all, you need to ask yourself one question. Why do Israel, a big country, needs a small country, needs to recognize a small country somewhere in Africa, a land that is not even, that even his neighbors doesn't even recognize them. Now, all of a sudden they're recognizing it. You need to ask yourself why this is happening. This actually means that they have something, they have a plan. I won't sit here and say that I know the plan, the actual plan. People are talking left, right, and center, saying that they want to use that land to do something. But I'm very sure there is a plan, there is something in it. It's not just normal. Somaliland is just a country in East Africa. It's just a land in East Africa, not recognized by even Kenya, by even Somalia themselves. Now they're recognizing it. Now the biggest problem we have with African leaders is they're always celebrating when these big people, these big countries just give them small things. They are always happy without knowing what is the main reason why they are doing this. There's nothing that comes for free. Yes, they can give them that recognition, but there's nothing that comes for free. Nothing. You ask yourself, for all those years, since 1991, now this is the time that they're recognizing it. Is this the time that they're seeing it on the map? There must be something that these Israelites want to do with this land. But now, the Somalians in the Somaliland are celebrating it. They think that it's a big thing, it's a big deal, not knowing that they are going to be used and dumped. That is always the usual plan. Used and dumped. Tell me what you think about this story down there in the comment section, guys. Tell me what is your opinion about this story down there in the comment section. And of course, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. See you in the next video. God bless you.